Let's discuss that with our panelists who are joining me this evening. We have Dhanraj Manjari, who's a retired ACP of the city of Mumbai. Mr. Manjari, I want to start with you. How does one look at this entire scenario?
Whatever been FIR filed by CBI, we need to understand this episode beyond the orbit of political vendetta. In this case of Sanjay Pandey, who was former Director General and Commissioner of Mumbai in Maharashtra, I tell you the way the sections of Indian Telegraphic Act been applied, that points out to the misuse of official position. Was it the possibility in the case of Sanjay Pandey that he made misuse of official position? Well, misuse of official position at whose interest? And it's not hidden fact, it's not hidden things anymore, but it's a daylight fact that this high-ranking police administration has an unholy nexus. I am repeating, unholy nexus with the politicians. Of course, this leads to the corporate houses. You know, when Parambir Singh was a target, it was anti-explosive. Thereafter, the murder of Mansukh Hiren. And all these things indicates one thing, that unless and until there is an unholy nexus between top police administrative officers with politicians, corporatocracy in this country will not survive. We are under wrong notion that we are a democratic country. It's a corporatocracy. It's a corporatocracy. They have replaced democracy.
Okay.
Now we need to understand this equation, and thereby I appeal the investigation agency to find out what is the truth, what happened when he was in service, when Sanjay Pandey was not in service. How dare he influence the taping of certain telephone numbers in which was he interested? No. He was not.
Mr. Manjari, the larger question is then, is it a case where these officers are protected by a certain government, and as soon as there's change in government, we see action happening and action taking place?
Hardened facts one need to understand. Police is always under the political thumb, and that is why the political bosses, whatever they say, it happens. How dare Rasmi Shukla can put 19 telephone number without the consent of additional Chief Secretary of Home? Has she not having some contact with Home Ministry or Home Minister? Why the Home Minister of Maharashtra is in custody for more than a year? All these are jokes. Are you making mockery of the democracy? Understand well, my dear friends. It is a corporatocracy. Do not undermine Intelia explosive issues. It is a corporatocracy. And they hiked your politicians with the nexus of top-ranking police administration. And that's why such things are happening. That after Sanjay Pandey, there are going to be many more arrests of IPS officers. What do you mean by IPS? You have national emblem on your shoulder. That is, you shoulder the responsibility. Your emblem has got into your head, and that's how you develop unholy nexus with politicians and doing all this rampant corruption. Where is the people of India? We, the people of India, we need to understand it. What is happening? Our all systems are corrupted with political bosses at the helm of big tycoons in corporate. Do not forget that. Do not forget that. And if you understand this thing, then only there is a meaning in investigation, finding out such faults, and finally it will then go to judicial forum, the justice into
And I understand the angst with which you are saying all of this, Mr. Manjari. Mr. Balakrishnan, when he says that you wear the emblem on the shoulder because that reflects the kind of responsibility that you actually shoulder, and that's very aptly put by Mr. Manjari.
What is the importance of Mumbai, you think? It's the economic capital of country. Why 26/11 has happened? I was in charge of corporate police station. ACP did then. I know why the attack was only on Mumbai. The importance of Mumbai is always underlined in a silver fashion. What Mr. Zai is saying कि police station में जाओ तो FIR नहीं लेगा. Mr. Zai, it's very small thing. You are right, absolutely right. Very small thing it is. But when it happens on the level of constable or a head constable or sub inspector, the magnitude of inference and magnitude of the consequences reduces. But when it happens on the level of IPS officer, look, in my first opening sentence, I said when they are wearing the emblem, Ashok Stambh अपने कंधे पे पहनते हैं, they wear it on shoulder. So the implication and repercussions are more serious. Yes, there is an unholy nexus between these politicians and the high-ranking police officer. It is deadly combination when the third factor walks in, and that is corporate. First time in the history of Mumbai police, Parambir Singh, the commissioner, was absconded, declared absconded for more than 200 days. What it shows? Antalya explosive.
And I completely
Can
agree
we
when you say that,
imagine?
Mr. Vanjari. And you know, since Mr. Balakrishna also knows the state of Maharashtra and city of Mumbai very, very closely, I completely agree with Mr. Vanjari, Mr. Balakrishna, when he says that what sort of precedent have these top cops really set?